नमस्ते बिटिया, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया. A very good morning to you all. Myself, JVN Dr. Ravi Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Practice of Medicine and Faculty of Homeopathic Science in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. In today's lecture, we are going to start with non-ST segment elevation acute coronary syndrome, that is, non-ST segment elevation MI and unstable angina. So, what is non-ST elevation MI and how is it different from ST elevation MI? What are the various etiopathogenesis? What are the various factors that are responsible for the development of it? Clinical features, investigations, and management. We are going to discuss all about MI in these two lectures today and tomorrow. So in today's lecture, we are going to start with non-ST elevation MI. So patient with ischemic heart disease fall into two large groups. So if a patient is coming to us with ischemic heart disease, then we can think of two possibilities. Patients with chronic coronary artery disease, CAD, who most commonly present with stable angina, and patient with acute coronary syndrome, that is ACS. This acute coronary syndrome, this includes patient with acute myocardial infarction with ST segment elevation, that is ST-EMI, on their presenting electrocardiogram. And the second one is the patients with non-ST elevation, acute coronary syndrome, that is NSTE-ACS. The latter, that is the NSTE-ACS, includes the patient with non-segment elevation myocardial infarction. Now, what are the incidence of NSTE? The relative incidence of NST-EMI compared to ST-EMI, that is non-ST elevation myocardial infarction, in comparison to the ST elevation myocardial infarction, appear to be increasing. So now the non-ST elevation MI is increasing in incidence. The women are more prone for developing NST-EMI than men. Women comprises more than 1/3 of the patients with NSTE-ACS, but less than 1/4 of the patients with STE-MI. Now, what is the pathophysiology that is involved in the development of non-ST elevation myocardial infarction? So, NSTE-ACS, acute coronary syndrome, is most commonly caused by the imbalance between oxygen supply and oxygen demand. So, this is basically the imbalance between the oxygen supply and the oxygen demand that is resulting from a partially occluding thrombus. So this is resulting from a partially occluding thrombus that is forming on a disrupted athrombic coronary plaque or on eroded coronary artery endothelia. There is severe ischemia or myocardial necrosis that may occur inconsequent to the reduction of coronary blood flow that is caused by the thrombus and by downstream embolization of the platelet aggregates and or atherosclerotic debris. Now, what are the other causes of NSTE-ACS? This includes dynamic obstruction, that is coronary spasm, as in Prinzmental variant angina, severe mechanical obstruction due to the progressive coronary atherosclerosis, and increased myocardial oxygen demand that is produced by conditions such as fever, tachycardia, and thyrotoxicosis in the presence of fixed epicardial coronary obstruction. Now, what are the clinical presentations? The diagnosis of NSTE-ACS is based largely on the clinical presentation. The clinical presentation includes the chest discomfort that is severe and has at least one of the following three features. The first one is it occurs at rest with minimal exertion lasting for greater than 10 minutes. It is of relatively recent onset, that is within the prior 2 weeks, and it occurs with a crescendo pattern, that is distinctly more severe, prolonged, or frequent than the previous episodes. The diagnosis of NSTE-MI is established if the patient with these clinical features develops evidence of myocardial necrosis as reflected in abnormally elevated levels of biomarkers of cardiac necrosis. Now, what is the history and physical examination? This includes the chest discomfort that is often severe enough to be described as frank pain. It is typically located in the substernal region or sometimes in the epigastrium, and it radiates to the left arm, left shoulder, and left and neck. Angina equivalents such as dyspnea, epigastric discomfort, nausea, or weaknesses may occur instead of chest pain. It is more frequent in women, the elderly, and patients with diabetes mellitus. In case of large NST-EMI, the physical findings can include diaphoresis, that is excessive sweating, pale cool skin, sinus tachycardia, a third or a fourth heart sound with basilar veils, and hypotension can be present. Now, the diagnosis can be done by electrocardiogram, which shows ST segment depression that occurs in 20 to 25% of the patients. Cardiac biomarkers with the patients with non-ST-EMI have elevated biomarkers of necrosis such as cardiac troponin I or T, which are specific, sensitive, and the preferred markers for myocardial necrosis. The patients with an unclear history with a small elevation of CTN, typically if they are persistent, may not be diagnostic of ACS. Now, diagnostic evaluation. It consists of three major non-invasive tools that are used in the evaluation of NST-EMI ACS. That includes the electrocardiogram, that is ECG, cardiac biomarkers, and stress testing. Now we come to the management of NST-EMI. It consists of number one, medical treatment. In the medical treatment, patients should be placed at bed rest with continuous ECG monitoring for ST segment deviation and cardiac arrhythmias. The medical therapy involves simultaneous anti-ischemic and anti-thrombotic treatments and consideration of the coronary revascularization. The second management of NST-EMI consists of anti-ischemic treatment that includes bed rest, nitrates, beta-adrenergic blockers, and inhaled oxygen in the presence of hypoxemia. The nitrates that are given sublingually or by the buccal spray. Topical or oral nitrates can be used when the pain has resolved. Beta blockers are the other mainstay of anti-ischemic treatment. The heart rate slowing calcium channel blockers, example verapamil or diltiazem. Additional medical therapy includes ACE inhibitors like angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. Next, management of NST-EMI consists of the anti-thrombotic therapy. It consists of two components. Number one is antiplatelet drugs, and the second one is the anticoagulants, which combinedly consist of anti-thrombotic therapy. The long-term management of NST-EMI, that is non-ST segment elevation myocardial infarction, consists of smoking cessation, achieving optimal weight, daily exercise, blood pressure control, and following an appropriate diet, the control of hyperglycemia and lipid management. So this was all about non-ST elevation myocardial infarction. Now in the next lecture, we are going to discuss about the ST segment elevation myocardial infarction. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box and I'll try to resolve it. So this was all for today. Thank you very much. We will be meeting in the next lecture tomorrow. Thank you.